Hola, pues continuamos. Bienvenidos de nuevo a todos a esta segunda ponencia de la tercera jornada de Fashion Ideas Forum. Después de hablar de sourcing con Gabriel, ahora hablaremos de distribución. Para hacerlo, ahora conectaremos con ella, la veréis aparecer en pantalla dentro de nada. Contaremos con una ponencia en inglés a cargo de Sara Johannesson, que nos hablará desde Suecia, ya la estáis viendo. Sara es directora y socia de la firma de diseño e innovación Doberman, especializada en asesoramiento en experiencia de cliente y que además esta compañía ha sido comprada este mismo año por la multinacional EY. A lo largo de su carrera, Sara ha pasado por un montón de empresas, desde IKEA, Ericsson, Schibsted, bueno, y la lista es larguísima. Sara, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super thrilled to be here. Oh no, I lost the sound. Let me see here.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. It's always something like that.
So, yes, I was telling you that please go ahead. It's your turn.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pilar. I'm super thrilled to be here. I'm going to talk a bit about survival of the most symbiotic. And I will make it clear to you what that is in just a bit. But let's start where we are today. Next slide, please. Thank you. Innovation, more urgent than ever. As you know, the corona crisis are here. We are in some kind of lockdown. I'm actually sitting here in my bedroom in Åre. The political tensions are getting harder. There are a lot of movements around the world. Black Lives Matter. There are protests in Hong Kong, protests in Lebanon, and, you know, in many places. And of course, we have the big one, the climate crisis, which maybe we should name the human crisis, because the climate will still be there, but humanity will be the ones who's losing. Another way of showing this is showing it with this picture. The small shark is COVID-19, and that one we can get away from. The other one is the upcoming economy problems and political tensions as well. That shark we can also focus a bit more on. But the big shark, we tend to have a bit trouble focusing on, which maybe that's where we should have the biggest focus of us all. I'm going to start and read you a text now, so you can just relax. Sit back, close your eyes if you want to, and just listen in. I'm going to start talking about Charles Darwin. You know Charles Darwin and the theory of evolution, survival of the fittest. Did you know that he wasn't alone coming up with these theories? A younger version of himself, called Alfred Russel Wallace, had the same ideas as Darwin. And along the journey to Indonesia, he wrote Darwin a letter with this specific matter. They published a piece together, but before Wallace made it back home, Darwin had published a book on the origin of species, and Darwin got all the fame. Wallace, though, had a slight difference in his ideas towards Darwin. Wallace saw something on his trips. There was something about spirituality. There was something important in how people lived and evolved in those places. It was something about spirituality. Not religion, but spirituality of nature. Why is this interesting for us to think about now in these unprecedented times? Corona is happening, and new rules of who the survival of the fittest is are coming to play. We cannot with certainty say who's going to be the most affected. And the same goes for companies. The one before Corona that seemed to be the fittest to survive have been hit hard, and other companies have come to shine. There is something else emerging here that takes us from survival of the fittest to survival of the most symbiotic. the ones most integrated into the ecosystem of business and society. We've experienced how consumer behaviors and demands have changed overnight, how supply chains broke down, hypercharged growth across borders all of a sudden, the reveal of companies with cultures and organizations fit to adapt to a quick change towards a new digital first, and companies with cultures and organizations that can't keep up. If we zoom out even more, political movements are changing, trade deals are changing, climate change is affecting us more than ever. And this is just the beginning. We're in for a systems change. Now is the time to listen and learn. And now is the time to unlearn. What was true before might not be true moving forward. We need to dare more. We need to be more innovative than ever. Consumers' behaviors will not go back now to used to be. And we need to adapt to new needs and demands. So what does being the most symbiotic mean to us? Okay, if you dare to close your eyes, you can open them now. So let's go through survival of the most symbiotic. What can it be for us? There are 5 cornerstones in the symbiotic themes. It's all about organization and culture, supply and delivery, consumer and experience, circular business and design and models, collaboration and partnership. And I'll walk through them all with you and give you a few examples on each of them so you get a more clarity of what these cornerstones are all about. Let's start with organization and culture. Openness and curiosity and learnings are super key to moving forward in these unprecedented times. Organizations that are willing to learn and try new ideas, no matter who they come from, will be leading the way. So let me give a few examples. The first one is New Balance. They had set, before this year, they had set a 5-year plan, a 5-year vision for what they wanted to achieve with e-commerce and their digital space. But since Corona happened, they decided to take this bold move and do everything this year. So their 5-year plan is just being made right now as we speak. And this takes courage and, of course, enough C-level people to really be into the digital to make sure that this really happens. Another given example is Patagonia. Since they have a learning culture, and they're also built an organization based on a vision for the company. So bringing a vision into the organization and organize around that vision gives you a way to keep stable in times of unprecedented. Let's have a look on the supply and delivery chain. As you know, we've had broken delivery chains and supply chains, and demand have been kind of weird. It's time to be local and global at the same time. Here is an example of Hayware, which is a startup. They have a store in New York at the moment. They're making glasses, and you can walk into that store, get new frames, get new glasses, and they're fit to you within 30 minutes. So that means that the store only they have the frames and they have the glasses, and they make them adapted to your eyes in the store. So they have a special machine for that. So in these cases, they could continue during the Corona crisis, except for the lockdown though. But Now when it's not a lockdown anymore, they can still have consumers coming in, and they're not super stuck, even though their delivery chain has been broken. And the short, they can have some store inside their house. They can have some supply inside their store, so that means that they can continue even though their supply chain is broken. So they can fix the supply chain or find another supplier. Next one. So what we see on the top here is actually a self-driving truck. It's called Enride. So this is a self-driving truck, but it's also a platform for smart and fast delivery. So that with the platform, you can see where your goods are. You can also find ways of getting easy returns and follow that. And the platform makes sure that the delivery is fast, it's accurate, and it's also taking the best way. So that means that this truck can pick up deliveries from many different places and calculate which route to take and which would be the most efficient and best. This is also, since it's not driven by a human, you can use it during like Corona crisis, because you don't need to have any staff in there. So you can get stuff from A to B without a human being. They also partnered up with Oatly, the oat milk brand. So they're gonna have a few trucks going on the roads really soon. One that is hard to not mention in this area, of course, is Amazon. The way they work with data, the way they're calculating how the demands are changing, and then demands in different neighborhoods, and how they use like Ubers. So they fill things in Uber trucks and make sure that you have a delivery within 4 minutes. And the way they scaled during this crisis is amazing. They've hired 175,000 new employees during this spring, which takes an organization that is adapted to change to manage to have such a big one. There are many things that you can think about Amazon, but in that case, they are outstanding. Another aspect of the delivery and supply chain is also the returns, I would say. Son Taylor is a Danish brand where you can customize your t-shirt. So you're just putting in your numbers here. How long are you? How much do you weigh? What's your age? And then you can get it tailor-made. You can also adjust this even more. It's like I have longer arms, I have shorter arms, I got a long upper body. And as long as when they got your numbers, they're gonna produce it and then they're gonna send it to you. It's gonna take a bit longer to get delivered to you, but when you get it, you know it's gonna be right and it's gonna fit you. So this means no returns, and that would be a dream, right? Not to have as many returns as we do these days, especially since we want to be sustainable. Let's go to the next one. Consumer experience. You know that it changed a lot during these times. People who have never shopped online before are now shopping like crazy, or they just started shopping like crazy. And also the curiosity for new digital experience has emerged. And people have noticed that we can do like we do now. We're having a conference online, we can do a lot of different things online. So the expectations of new things online are even bigger than before. This is just outside my home. The blue car is mine. The white one is a Porsche, and I'm afraid it's not mine. So I just used an AR app that Porsche produced. So sorry for the shaky image. But this experience here is so real. I even found myself looking up from my phone when I filmed this to not bump into the car. And you know, I'm working with this, so I'm like, why did I fall for that? But I did. So when these digital experiences are as good as the real ones, that is going to take us places, which is amazing. I'm so ready to buy a Porsche. I just need the money. Another example of this is one from EY. So this is a new initiative that comes out from EY Fashion, and this is an avatar. You can play the movie and then I'll talk. Yes, as you've seen, it's building an avatar with your correct measurements. And of course, this takes a bit of effort to get the correct measurements and go there and get your avatar and your body scanned. But it feels like this is the moment in time when people can actually imagine themselves doing that little extra effort to get the right measurements in place, to get a new shopping experience and have a better experience moving forward. So this is really exciting to see where that's going to go. If we look at the circular business models and productions, these are not only climate friendly, of course, but they're also super friendly to people's budgets, which is a big thing right now, right? And so many people have lost their jobs, and we don't really know where the economy is going. It's also very good if you think about the trend of minimalism, right? The Marie Kondo trends. I have a few examples here, which is the top one is Hyber. It's all in Swedish. It's a children's, it's for children clothing. So this is subscription. You can rent things for as long as you need them. If your child is, going out of their outfits for 3 months or 6 months, you'll have it as long as you need it, and then you can swap. You can buy different packages, which is for winter clothing or summer or rain or shoes or baby or whatever. And this is also made with brands that are made to last. So, since children's clothing are easily getting destroyed from play. The second one is Released, and this is a subscription model where you get 3 new pieces of clothing every month. and the 3 you had last month, you're going to send back. And this is a mid-range brand subscription. So it's brands like Hope, Filippa Case, Dina Goya, Balm Fairgarden. And 3 pieces a month cost approximately 75 euros. Especially as, you know, living in Stockholm, it's a really good price, I would say, to get, you know, and still be on top of fashion, but you don't want to have all the outfits at your home, and you don't want to be super hard on the environment either. This one is a really interesting one. It's the first recycling mall in the world. So this is a whole mall full of recycled materials. It's repaired, it's remade, it's upcycled. They also have some small shops with sustainable things like flowers and food to make this a full mall experience. This one is one of my favorite pictures. You can totally see why this is on the fashion show, right? This is smart alloys that it can use in active de-assembly. And why am I talking about this here, right? But this is, I'm just going to explain them for you first. So these screws and metal pieces change while they're being heated. So this means if you have some, like a mobile phone made with these pieces, you can put it into something, you can heat it up, and then it will disassemble itself. So it's going to be much easier to recycle both the material and the pieces themselves. And this is definitely something that's going to come to the fashion industry within, you know, really, really soon. So thinking about not only recycle materials, as in tear them apart again and make new cloth out of them, but to really use the cloth out of old clothing instead, and thinking about how you can recycle that way. The next one is Houdini. Their sustainability status, 100%. They are a Swedish outdoor brand, and they started with the vision of, you know, taking care of nature and trying to be as sustainable as possible from start. They want to be fully circular by 2020. And last year they reached, they had circularity by 63% in the summer and winter collection. And their aim is not to, you know, be the best in outdoor fashion, but to really change the fashion industry and make it sustainable. And I think this is a really nice initiative. Collaborations and new partnerships. These are super important moving forward, right? You are never as good alone as you are together with others. So this means you can partner up with someone in your own business or someone else, someone totally unexpected, someone local to make sure you support the community. I have a few examples here from Sweden, or the top one is from Sweden. This is Niklas Ekstedt. He's a super famous chef. He's actually been working at El Bulli. So when Corona came, he partnered up with the local 7-Eleven store and started serving his food there. On the top right, you have Nada Debs and IKEA. So IKEA partnered up with Nada Debs, who is a Lebanese super nice designer. She's doing furniture and fabrics and all sorts of nice things. It's also so interesting when IKEA want to lift a local designer. So this is unfortunately only to buy in the Middle East. Then you can do like Koyo, the shoe brand, who've been partnered up with authors from Chicago. and they printed their poems on their shoes, just to make sure that, find a way to support Black Lives Matter movement. And I think this is also a super nice way of doing that. Another big surprise was, of course, when Apple and Google said that they're going to collaborate. Those two giants who've been, competing a lot. But there are times when you cannot collaborate. And I think these are the times, both when it comes to sustainability, but of course, when it comes to COVID-19. We need to partner up with the ones. There are so many other ways we can compete. So how do we seize the unprecedented opportunities here? Let me just start with a quick walkthrough of where I'm from. I work at a design agency called Doberman, and we use design to push the world forward. We have a big office in Stockholm and one in New York, and we partnered with EY in May. So we're super excited to be part of the EY family. So we're here to help you make big leaps towards innovation and sustainability. And we do this through making lovable products that people use every day. We work with circularity and also proven business models that are working really good. We use emerging tech solutions as a catalyst to find new innovations. And we also work a lot with companies' own ability to innovate, because you all have it. You know that. A quick one, we also started a new sustainability lab. And this initiative, we are looking for partners in. So if you're interested in becoming even more sustainable and finding out how we can innovate from that, please reach out. One way of being not stuck in where you are is to innovate for a preferable future. That means not following trends, not doing what everyone else is doing, not sitting analyzing your numbers too much, but imagine the future you want to have. Do it with experts, do it with your whole company, do it with everyone who's there. So if you look at the future, you have the big ring here, and the white ring is where, the trends will take us, and the one that's easy to foresee. Whereas we want to end up where the yellow is. We want to do the more unprecedented things. We want to end up in a future that we really want to have. I mean, the other way is the way they brought us here, and now we have a climate crisis and we have a COVID crisis. So let's not do that. So when you have an idea about what the future you want to have, you can start building artifacts that manifests your future. And from that, you can start backcasting what steps needs to be done, what needs to be taken, and where should you do them. It could be, for example, sometimes it can be that you want to make a big change, as in there is a law that needs to be changed to make that. It doesn't stop you from doing things, but if you have that in mind already from the start, then you can start working with that. So this can be big steps, it can be organizational steps, it can be we need to innovate in this area, we need to build a more new product, or there are various of scenarios in this one. And what we usually get stuck in is we're doing for a situation now. And in these times, yes, we need to do for COVID, we need to work for that. But we need to do something else. We need to stop just thinking about the future and like the climate crisis. I keep saying that. So we need to start doing for the future already now. And that is the mindset we need to have moving forward. So some key takeaways in becoming a symbiotic player is organization and culture at heart. Make sure that you're set up for unprecedented possibilities. Make sure that you have a culture that listens to everyone in your organization, no matter they're a cleaner or they're the boss. Make sure you can collaborate radical. Dare to reach out to your enemy. Dare to reach out to someone who is unexpected. It's time that we move on together. And innovate for a preferable future. It's a mindset. Just imagine the future you want to have and start innovate from that. This is how you can get started. Think big and act small. Just do stuff. Go under the radar. Don't ask, don't tell. Say yes first, think later. Do it yourself. Gather small teams. Prototype. Dance with uncertainty. Now, more than ever, you need to trial and error because it's nearly impossible to predict and make plans these days. Let's make this a movement. Thank you, guys.
Let's go through the Q&A section.
Yes.
Martin is asking, do you think the circular business models and production would become vegan?
If they would become big?
Vegan.
Vegan.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to explain it to you. When you don't eat, you just eat vegetables. Vegan.
Oh, vegan.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, why not? I mean, vegan is always a big trend, and I reckon that we need to look at all different things. Anything that can be, better than before is definitely something we need to do.
Another question, Maria asked, what's the limit of e-commerce growth?
Oh, is there a limit to it? I would say no. It's just started. I mean, you can see so many elderly people who are all of a sudden shopping all the groceries online. People that would never ever do that before. So, no.
And if we talk about the fashion business?
I mean, the fashion business is a bit different when it comes to that part because you also have like the circular business models. When you start doing that, then the commerce will become different, right?
Another question from Carlos. How do you measure profitability of physical stores if part of the sales are made online?
So I would say that physical stores are more showrooms in the future. And I'm not as sure that you should separate them as much as you have when you're thinking about the numbers. Because I mean, there is a habit of you going trying something on in the store and then you go and buy it online, and that will continue. And if you have a physical store that actually gives you an experience beyond the normal, people would love to, continue to support you for who you are and that experience. So I think that is something that you need to take into account.
Another question: if you had a fashion brand, would you sell at department stores?
I would be picky. I would do that in some stores, but not a lot. I would sell mostly online, yeah.
Ben also asks if this channel has a future. Do you think that they have future?
Department stores?
Yeah.
I I do think they have a future as long as they are brave enough to partner up with others, you know, doing something unexpected and not just being a pure shopping experience, but an experience in, you know, a living room or, you know, that kind of. If you continue on that one, just spending time together, then I think they have a future, yeah.
A question from Luisa. How can you take the experience of a brick and mortar store to e-commerce?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
How can you take the experience of a brick and mortar store to e-commerce?
A brick commercial?
A physical store to e-commerce.
Oh, yeah. Well, as you did see in my Porsche example, that car experience was, you know, as I said, I I had to look out from my phone to see that I didn't step into the car, which was kind of silly, but I did. So when you have that AR experience that are so immersed and so real, then you're basically, you know, you are there. So that is one example. But there is also something where, you know, work with the collective and have unprecedented things happening while you're shopping. Is there any way that I can give you an advice that, is there someone, can I have a personal shopper? I think there is a lot of innovation that can be made around that.
This one comes from Elena. Describe your ideal store and your ideal e-commerce platform.
Oh, wow. My ideal store, actually the one I'm coming to think of is one, there is one in Malmö and there is one in Seoul. That is, no, sorry, Shanghai. That is amazing because you can go into there is a shopping mall. You can go there and you can also, you know, create some clay and you can just sitting and doing some woodwork and you can go shopping. And I think that experience is so nice. So you go there, you can spend a whole day and you can also, you know, pursue your hobbies. I think that's a super nice experience.
And the other one, the e-commerce platform?
Yeah, when it comes to e-commerce, I still haven't found my favorite one yet. I need to invent that.
Okay, so one last question that comes from Eduardo. Will people want to go shopping with masks and social distancing? Can this problem be solved?
Yeah, very good question. I think, I mean, what I've seen in Sweden is that people want to continue go shopping, but it's not as many as it used to be. And I think the behavior is actually here to, you know, it's changed for real. So there is no going back to what was the old normal before. And yeah, it's like you don't look nice in a mask, do you? You want to, when you're fitting on something, you want to look nice and you want to see how you look when you're fitting it on. So yeah, maybe we need to work on the fashion masks as well.
Thank you very much, Sara. Thank you very much for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
The same. Thank you very much. A todos los demás, muchísimas gracias a todos también. Hacemos una paradita, nada, de 10 minutos, 17:40 volvemos con la última sesión de la jornada de hoy. Lo de antes, no os desconectéis, no es necesario, mantenéis la plataforma abierta y volvemos en 10 minutitos. Hasta ahora.